Everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lucid's 2022 Tournament Game 4, where we are playing Nazca. This is turn 103, and we've started attacks against Vanheim, mostly probing, but we do have one actual, two-ish actual attacks. So, yeah, let's see how things go. We got no remotes for the turn, we got plenty of remotes. We have no research or anything like that for the turn, so it's just a bunch of remotes. So we're just gonna go down the list and see how things work out, shall we? We can see we have a manifestation against ourselves, but we cast it. So what this means is that we cast a manifestation and did not find a target. So we now have to deal with the consequences of our actions. Oh, Hand of Death, hell yeah. Lich's rule. We dealt with the consequences of our actions. Hell yeah, we did it. Got more manifestations going out as well. Attacking in Bowenshire. This Windmaster. Ooh, Shocking Grasp. That was a good stun, but he didn't finish it out. Alright, so we got that guy. We did a manifestation over here. Going up against another Blood Hunting Vanjarl. Ooh, we feared that one. Hell yeah. Nice. Ooh. So that was that. And then we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 reports in Monherboa. Alright. Okay. Alright. We have Monherboa. Suddenly a storm of fireballs appears out of nowhere and strikes the army. 145 units were hit and 97 were killed. Among them was a Huron priest. So we laid out previously, like, what are the options, right, that might be used against us? Are we going to get magic phased? Are we going to get an army teleported in? Are we going to get a bunch of remote attacks? Combination of all the above? Well, at least we're getting some remote attacks, right? So we have 1 flames from the sky. 2 flames from the sky. Another fireball, a storm of fireballs, 81 more units hit, 49 killed in them. A Mound King. I've said this before, I'll say it again very briefly. I wish that there was a more robust report from things like Murdering Winter and Flames from the Sky so that you could actually see which units were killed. I think the way that it is set up is just very meh currently. It's a lot of... It's just not great. You don't get a lot of information out of it. You gotta have kind of like... You gotta go look at previous turns and be like, well, I sent in these 21 mages, and now I can see that there's only 12 mages here, so I lost 9 mage, right? Anyways. We have a report from Satrandith. Do I have this? Hostile spell was deflected by a Dome of Air. Another report in Monherboa. An enormous blizzard. So 98 units were hit, but only 13 units were killed. Among them was a Hydromancer. Unfortunate.
A
Hydromancer. But not unexpected. We haven't really protected a lot of our Hydromancers against things like Murdering Winter because they have built-in frost resistance, so it's easy to kind of like overlook that. We probably should have been doing Rings of Frost Resistance for a long time now, because it doesn't take much to push them over the threshold of being able to be killed by Murdering Winter, but they're definitely at it. I think all of our Hydromancers have like 7 frost resistance base, which just isn't enough to guarantee safety, especially not when you've been hit by multiple other things. So we've got a Murdering Winter there. We got another manifestation. And this is at another Vanjarl. Bless, and rout. Thank goodness for the fear effect on manifestation. We did Haruspex, didn't find anything. We have another hostile spell stopped in Obulshin from the Dome of Air there. And then we have another report from Monherboa, another fucking flame from the sky. 57 units hit, 28 killed. Christ. Battle in Old Man Mountains, battle in Fowenshire, where we sent a double stack of horsemen. And we killed what looks to be like the only little caster that was there. So this we actually do a good job of killing. So cool. Very nice. And then we get some sort of thing happening to us in Old Man Mountains. We get a horror cannon. Send lesser horrors, I'm assuming. Although this might be just... No, this looks like a send lesser horror. And this should be a win. Yeah. Should be good. We did still lose 19 Hutton Runa to that. Because Brass Claw Horrors are very killy regardless. But Hutton Runa are also just not that great. Wow! Wowie, wow, 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 wow. That was a lot of stuff. That's a lot of remotes. So, remotes for the turn. Just going down the list, we have manifestations, 4 wins and 0 losses. I'm going to count the fact that we survived our own counter manifestation as a win. Ghost Riders, 1 win and 0 losses. Lesser Horrors, 1 win and 0 losses. Dome of Air, 2 wins, 0 losses. And then we get into things where it's just kind of reporting on numbers. So Murdering Winter, we lost 13 allies to, 13 units to. And then Flames from the Sky, we lost 174 units to. So, that's not great. We sent in, like, I don't know, 250 or 300? So a good half of the army has been deleted. And it's very likely that the half of the army that has been deleted is the... Majority of it is the unit half, the infantry half, right? The half that we need for chaff and, you know, that type of stuff. So probably most of the Long Dead's dead. Probably most of the Supayas are dead because they don't do well against Flame from the Sky. The Huakas, probably about half of them are dead. We probably lost a quarter of the mages. So this is going to be rough. But potentially still doable as long as Vanheim didn't reinforce the garrison there. So we'll see. Let's move on over to battles then. We have been attacked in Pavonia. So Pavonia is where we have all of our Hutton Runa. There's a fucking shit ton of them here. And we get a golem that comes in, right? And he's gonna call Lesser Horror. He immediately gets jumped on. And we're just having a hell of a time trying to harm him. But someone eventually does scratch him, and he's gone. So, Pavonia, we lose 1 Malqui and 5 Hutton Runa. Whatever. Is what it is. Ooh, what happened with our cube? Did it get triggered? Let's see. Let's see if it gets triggered. Protection. No. It did not get triggered. This didn't trigger gem usage? What? I mean, it wouldn't have worked anyways, right? Like... Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to trample him, so it wouldn't have worked. But that's very strange to me. Why did this not trigger gem usage? That seems kind of bullshit. Whatever. We send the guy packing. Is what it is. We can see attacks from Ulm. Ulm attacked in Jabero. Little stack of black plate. Against a little bit of PD. I think if we had... I don't know that it would have mattered, but I do like to believe in the back of my mind that if we had all attacked... If we'd all attacked 20 turns ago, it'd be a very different matter. But if we'd all attacked 10 turns ago, And it was just little raiding parties like this everywhere. You know, 20 Supayas and a Huron priest. You know, 20 wave warriors and 2 mystics. Some teleporting, like, freaking kings and things like that. Like, probably, I say we might have been able to whittle them down, but I don't know. Battle at Pavonia. So, immediately after the golem comes in, we get hit with a scout. I don't think that's going to work out for you there, buddy. So, no scout. No success. We take Fowenshire from the Ghost Riders. So, easy peasy. A Olmish attack at Winna. Little stack of black plate. Ooh, there is a Van Jarl here. That Van Jarl's probably going to tear him up. We're at Pete falls in the back. And these black plate get... Ooh, the Bonds of Fire doing fucking work. Hi-ya. That's fucking good right there. Hell yes. These guys are really fucked up. No, don't rout. You had it. You were there. I can't believe you guys ran at the end. Now you're just going to die. Oh, actually. See? See? You could have just fought for so much longer. Wow. Well, they did kill a Van Jarl, but they lost 2 Master Smiths for it. So, is what it is. We are attacked in Mighty Pillars. So, we sent in a little reinforcement group here, and he sent in a little stack of Einhairs and a Van Jarl. We got Air Elementals doing some work back here. We got Supayas coming in, and he flees with the Air Elemental. No fun, or with the Van Jarl, no fun. So, there's that. And then we get an actual battle in Mon Herboa. So let's take a look at what... Wow, okay. Ugh, yeah, that's a real army. Bunch of Vans here. A little bit of Vine Ograge, some Einhairs, a bunch of Van Jarls in the back. Adepts of Pyrophlegaton, Liches, we've got Enchantresses, we've got Shamans in the backfield. Ay-yi-yi, we got this bear boy over here. Oh my goodness. And we are a fucking skeleton crew. Yikes. Yikes, my gikes. Alright, well. Got our king over here. We do have our queen of elemental air, though she is vastly diminished. We do have a royal Malqui. We do have our fairy queen out here. A couple of our hydromancers still in the action. A couple of our Huron priests still in the action. So let's see what we can actually do here. Fog Warriors out. We have... Looks like we have all of our buffs still, right? Regeneration up. Lucky up. Fog Warriors up. Gift or Army of Gold up. All these Van Jarls is going to be a fucking nightmare. Now, we do have a bunch of our Huakas here, and I actually like the matchup of our Huakas versus Van Jarls, generally speaking. But they just got so much more than what we have right now. Bunch of Air Elementals in our backfield now. Yeah. Leaf. Got some Supayas in the back there, but just not enough. Like, I think... What are we going to see here? Yeah, these Huakas are actually doing okay. Now they're not doing okay because the Air Elementals are in with them. But those Huakas were doing fine against the Vans. Yikes. Yikes! My yikes. Yeah. 10 vans. 12. All right. 15 units killed. 99 versus 250. I have every reason to believe that if this had been two armies fighting one another, that we might have won. I don't know that we would have won. He's got a lot of Van Jarls here. 43 Van Jarls here. So he kind of smokes us on the amount of mage support he has, right? Though I will say the majority of these... Let's see. Were the majority of these acting as mages, or were they acting as... Yeah, they got some earth power, or some storm power. Are they doing... No, most of them are just air elemental casters. And then attack. Yeah. Most of these are air elementals casters and then on attack. So these are 43 air elementals and then they're fucking 43 more vans, buffed up vans. So like, and a lot of them actually do have gear, so there's especially buffed up vans. It's entirely possible that if we did not get hit with any flames from the sky or more murdering winter, that this would have been a much more comparable match. But I do think with the amount of mages that he brought in, it probably still would have been a victory for Van. But I do think like our Huakas and things like that were holding up, right? And the fact that we only had 26 Supayas when we walked in there with like 100 Supayas is like, oh, all right. So that's a bummer. It's a bummer though, not because we lost. It's a bummer in the manner in which we lost. Because this is what I'm concerned about this, right? I'm concerned that this is going to be I don't like this about the late game. I think I've expressed this in the past. I'm not a fan of Dominions 5 late game because it feels like the late game is relatively meta bound. There's a handful of like main strategies in the late game for Dominions, and it kind of like, if you don't fit into the mold of one of those strategies, you're kind of boned. Which is on one hand it's fine. That's like, there's nothing wrong with having meta strategies. I just don't like the fact that there's like 3 meta strategies. And one of the issues is in the late game, attacking into someone is very, very difficult because things like flames from the sky, murdering winter are expected. Now the upside of that is that Van just used 30, 60, 90, right? I believe it's 30, 60, 90 for... Yeah, it's 30, 60, 90 for the flames from the sky, and then 40 for the murdering winter. So Van just used 130 gems, plus the, what looked to be like 40-ish air gems, right, to guarantee that victory. The question is that amount of gems an actual issue for Van? Because if it is an issue, great. If it's not an issue, then obviously not great, right? So, let's watch this last little attack from Ulm in the Trackless Wastes. Okay, we got a Lich here, and we've got a Vanjar here. That's probably not going to be good for Ulm. Van in the back is going to make short work of these Master Smiths. Yeah. I would definitely say, like, this is kind of like a problem with the raiding parties that Ulm has and has set up. You kind of have to expect there to be a Van Jarl in every single province that you're raiding into, which means that you have to have leadership that can survive a Vanjarl casting Gift of Flight and attacking in the rear, or you have to like, you know, set enough like bodyguards on your people to keep them alive. It's really difficult though, because then it's hard to like balance, is this a cost-effective raid or is this now a small army, right? So anyways, battles versus Van. We actually had 4 wins and 1 loss, but the 4 wins were inconsequential and the loss was major, right? And I think the loss was indicative of what we can kind of expect in the future. This was a probe attack, but it was a relatively costly probe attack. I'm not super worried about whether or not we can hold Obelshin. I mean, obviously, if he sends a shit ton of things at Obelshin, we'll be fucked, but if you send a shit ton of things at any of our borders, we're going to be fucked, right? We have reinforcements in the area to protect Obelshin. We have a dome up on Obelshin. Hopefully we'll be okay, right? The issue there, I think, was the 130 gems used on Flames from the Sky and Murdering Winter. Murdering Winter being the least effective, but still, you know, doing some damage, still killing some units. If every big battle that we faces that kind of scenario, that's going to be a problem. So, we are going to need to factor that into the concept. It is too late in the game for us to do anything about unit selection. That is, again, something that we should have been cognizant of, should have been focusing on 20 turns ago, right? We should have been going, hey, we need to stop worrying about producing these things, or if we're going to produce those things, fine, but we also need to focus on producing these things that are going to withstand, whether it's stuff like Vine Ogres, or I think like Mudmen, or there's a couple of like little demons, obviously, are one of the indicative things that can stand up against something like Flames from the Sky. So it's too late for us to do anything about that. We don't have the time. The game is going to end shortly, probably anyways. So now we basically have to just go, okay, let's make this a math problem, right? If we attack on one location, that costs you 130 gems just in Flames from the Sky and Murdering Winter. So let's attack in as many locations as possible to make it a math issue, right? Because if it's 2 locations, right, we're looking at 260. If it's 3 locations, we're looking at 390. If it's 4 locations, we're looking at, what are we looking at? It would be 490, 520. 520 gems is not an insubstantial amount of gems just for remote attacks. And that's also not an insubstantial amount of mages to be positioned in the proper locations to make sure that you can do something like, what would that would be 12 Flames from the Sky and 4 Murdering Winters, plus also, right, for verification, that's amounts did not obliterate this army. This army still would have killed a small amount of like Vanjarls coming in, like 5 Vanjarls, a couple of like Vans, etc., etc. It still would have killed something like that. It would still kill a minor garrison. So you need, not only do you need the 130 gems, but you need a sizable enough force to do something about it afterwards, or a super combatant that's properly equipped to do something about it afterwards. So all of those things, right? This is the gamble that we're making. We're going to say, okay, if we're attacking 1, 2, 3, 4, locations, if that's even possible for us, right? Because it might not be possible. If we're attacking 4 locations, can you afford the 520 gems for remoting? Do you have the forces nearby to fight them? Do you have the gems on those forces, right, to be able to do 40 air elementals? Because I think that's another fucking thing. If we had not had to deal with 40 air elementals, that might not have mattered as much. Although that would have just meant that we would have dealt with 43 Vanurals sooner. So maybe that's actually the better side of things. So there's a lot up in the air. The question is that a feasible scenario for Van, right? Unfortunately, I think the answer is probably going to be yes, right? Like, if we're thinking about it, this is a 4 cap, 5 cap, 4 cap van, right? Technically, they don't have Arco, but it's a 4 cap van with a solid 4.5, 5 territories worth, 5 countries worth of territory. The amount of gems that this dude has is probably going to be astronomical at this point. If we take a look at our gem income, right? We're making 30, 60, not counting the extra 20 from Misery, 30, 60, 80, 100, 120-ish gems per turn, right? So if we're a 1 cap country with the territory of probably 2 countries worth, meaning it's the territory that matters there. The caps do give you an extra boost, but it's the territory that matters there. Meaning, if we're producing 120 gems per turn, Van is definitely pushing 240, I would assume, right? And at 240 gems per turn, you only need 2-ish turns, 2 or 3 turns to reach, a 520 scenario. And with the way that Van is playing, they're playing in a very defensive game. I would assume that Van is playing with the mindset of, I have to be able to launch 3 flames from the sky in a murdering winter at any fucking province that I need to. Multiple times. So this is gonna be the math problem. We're gonna see how it goes. We're gonna try, right? Like if Ulm is able to continue to attack here or there, if Pelagia is able to continue to attack here or there, then maybe we will pull something off. Maybe we'll drain the resources of Van just enough for it to matter. But yeah. That, I think, is the battles. Let's jump into the events. And I just talked about a lot of the plans and concepts of what we're doing right now. So the rest of this turn is probably just going to be going through mechanicals. So unexpected event. Rebirth in Miratran. Rebirth event in Marsh. Rebirth event in Golm. In Naranthian, there was a hurricane. So we got unrest and lost population. In Devil's Pond, we lose some income, and in Olifa, we get some air gems. So, events for the turn, 2 negative, 4 positive. Naranthian Unrest plus 24. Naranthian population minus 120. Devil Pond income minus 10. And then we have the positive ones, which are Miratran population plus 310, Miratran income plus 1, Mike Marsh population plus 310, income plus 1, Golem population plus 270, and income plus 1, and then we get 5 air gems. So, not too bad of a turn as far as events go. And then some say this might be the most interesting event. We get Arco is permanently dead at the end. Nation defeated. Arcocephale or Arcocephaly, whichever, right? Defeated or vanquished, right? And I think this was from Dom. I do not think that this was from a battle. We're gonna go check, but I'm pretty sure no one ever killed the large force in the throne. Yeah, no one ever killed the large force in Green Coast. So, or no one finished off Mudwood. No one finished off Viserion Arches. So at the end of the game, this is another reason that leads me to believe that Van is just going to dom kill the shit out of everyone. Is just going to temples up all over the place, blood sack every location he can, push, and that's gonna be it. And because it's not easy dom killing a player even when they only have a little bit left, especially if they are preaching in those locations. But it hath been done. So that is all the more reason, I think, for us to expect that. And for us to expect a very defensive amount of play from Van. Now, that being said, Mudwood, Viserion Arches, and Green Coast are all 3 thrones. They are all 3 now open thrones, so it is possible that we are going to see Van go for Mudwood, Viserion Arches, and Green Coast. And if they do, that could be an opportunity for us to pull the trigger on some of those types of shenanigans. So, unfortunately, because of our abysmal fire income, we do not have the ability to do anything like Flames from the Sky. That is honestly a crutch for us. That is unfortunate. Because we could have tried to empower an Inca or a Malqui and then have have a flame hat on, have a skull of fire on, be able to do Flames Through the Sky. And in point of fact, one of the reasons why we haven't gone to Evocation 9 has been we just don't have the fire to do anything with it, right? So we are going there now because there are other things that we can do, namely things like Nephil Flames in actual combats. But we don't have the fire income to really do things like Flames from the Sky, so we just haven't bothered with it. That's really unfortunate. So we don't have that feather in our cap, but we do have things like Murdering Winter in our cap. That is very much a possibility for us. So we should be on the lookout for those types of opportunities. All right. Anyways, so we got events, we got nations defeated. We've got a bunch of movement. We are attacking into CERN. This is a very light probe. This is assuming that we are not going to succeed, but this is with the concept of I want to see what this motherfucker's patrolling with. So we're going to throw something out there that if he is patrolling with an insubstantial force, this absolutely could take that, sit on the province, right? But if he is patrolling with a substantial force, this is inconsequential. We don't care about losing this. In point of fact, we won't lose these 2. They'll just come back. We would be losing a Hydromancer, right? Not a big deal. We are also moving a lot of forces into Amul, right? And we are reinforcing slightly this attack at Mighty Pillars. We're sending... This is fun. We're sending in this Pakwa of the Mountain Spirits to try to do like a little modified slime play. We got this greater otherness really like 30 turns ago, right? From the events in Underhome, right? The statue of the hideous visage, that whole thing. So we are sending this guy in, and he's going to get... We're going to gift to flight him. He's going to hold and attack cavalry, and hopefully, right, this guy's going to go in the back with his large amount of regeneration, and he's going to go start trampling around on people. That will be fun if that happens. If it doesn't, it's whatever, right? Again, this is a sizable enough force that if he doesn't do anything, we will take Mighty Pillars. If he does do something and we lose it, what we're losing, we're not going to be super duper upset about, basically. We're also reinforcing with a fair number of forces, right? We're bringing in 100 Supaya from Satrandith. We're bringing in quite a few Hatan Runa. We're just trying to reinforce Amiul. We're reinforcing Neeple with some people. We are prepping to make ready to go towards Viserion Arches and Mudwoods, and we're reinforcing Obelshin. So yeah, that's a whole scenario. That's pretty much what we're doing for the actual turn. Let's talk about mechanics. Recruitment for the turn, we have 1 Lizard Shaman, 3 Huron Priests, 1 Royal Malqui, 1 Runanka, 2 Apus, and 4 Sun Guard. So I talked about this last turn. Basically, we're going to try to do a Royal Malqui every single turn that we can, because we're at that point to where if at the end of a turn, or if we go from turn 106 to 107 and we're trying to get an Inca, then that might not happen. But if we get a Royal Malqui, even if we get that Inca might not be able to do anything. But if we get a Royal Malqui, we could probably Cloud Trapeze that son of a bitch somewhere, teleport that son of a bitch somewhere, and they can potentially make an actual difference compared to an Inca. Or a Koya, in fairness, right? But yeah, we'll see. I don't know that it matters. We've talked a lot about why it doesn't matter. We're just going to play this out. We'll see how it goes. Nazcan recruits for the turn. We got some specials this time around. That's always nice. Lots of mummifications here. So we have 2 Royal Malqui mummified, 3 Malqui Priest mummified. We got 95 Haten Runa, and I was very confused by this because I was like, that number doesn't seem right. But I checked multiple times, and that is the number that we got between this turn and the last turn. So it was really, really fucking weird. 95 Haten Runa. We have 512 Long Dead Warriors. We finally broke 500. I'm very excited about it. It's just in time for us to lose. 41 recalled Supayas, with 2 summoned Supayas for another 14 Supayas, and 1 summoned Huaka for another 7 Huakas. I'm very pleased with how the Huakas performed, so I don't feel as bad about having spent so many turns acquiring so many Huakas at the cost of so many Astral Pearls. That being said, I do feel like that was one of our methods that we should have chosen 40 turns ago, to be like, this is a win condition. We have a good Astral income. We're going to make an Arcane Nexus play, or we are going to empower for Master Enslavers. So, but we didn't make that choice. We decided to use the Ultimate Gateway and make a bunch of Huakas. And I honestly, I like Huakas. I play this game because I like units. I play this game because I like battles. I play this game because I like interesting interactions and tricks and things like that. I'm less enthusiastic about I win buttons, basically, which is probably it's not probably, it's very much a handicap. It, like, casting flames from the sky 3 times is incredibly effective. I get it. It's also very boring to me. And that's not a shot at other players. For you, utilize the resources. If you're out to win the game, utilize the resources that you have to do what you're going to do. And I'm not going to say I will never do it, but it is somewhat boring to me to have an I win button like a master and slave scenario. It's very cool when it happens the one time, but it's very oppressive, and I don't like oppressive things. I like bashing armies at each other and being like, hey, we got it, yay! I say don't like oppressive. The only reason I'm alive is because I used a very oppressive strategy on turn 24, so ignore my talking. I like Huakas. I think they're really cool. I want to justify that I made a whole bunch of them. I want to make more of them, but I realize that I should have used my resources elsewhere. Anyways, those were Nazcan recruits. We got some special recruits for the turn. 1 Direwolf, 1 Dustwalker, 3 Sylphs, 1 Air Elemental, 3 Earth Gnomes, and 3 Sprites. Because we've got most of our Fairy Queens moving around to new places. Fairy Queen going into Amiul, getting all prepped and ready for shenanigans going down there. And then we have some rituals. We got rituals for the turn. 4 teleports. Those are actually down here in Mike Marsh. We have one Queen of Air, and we have one King of Earth. So, we lost a Queen of Air and a King of Earth there. We're just going to try to get them back immediately. Is that worthwhile? I don't know. The Queen of Air, probably. If we can successfully get the Queen of Air, that's probably worthwhile, because she can get 2 locations, and she will provide a very useful service to us. I don't know that the King of Earth will be worthwhile for us, but we'll see, right? It'll be what it is. That does mean, as far as Ultimate Gateway goes, we have 20 air saved, 20 earth saved, 6 astral saved, and 8 death saved, so that's always nice. And then, as far as forging goes, we have 1 Demon Bane, 1 Ring of Fire, 1 Water Bracelet, 2 Boots of the Messenger, 1 Endless Bag of Wine, 1 Huaka Headdress, 3 Amulets of Anti-Magic, and 1 Coral Blade. Nothing super crazy there, honestly. Yeah, I don't even really feel like we need to discuss any of those productions. Just making more shit. Demon Banes, Rings of Fire, blah, 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 blah. Protective gear. Trying to keep our people alive long enough so that we can actually have a fight. But I don't know that that's gonna happen. I'm a little concerned. I have every intention of trying to exhaust our resources. I almost just started moving all of like the Long Dead and like Mark and Baral and I started just moving them towards Neefel, towards Amul. I'm not moving all of the things because I want to like teleport over towards Mudwood and Viserion Arches, move things to Blackport, etc., etc. I started doing that this turn, but I paused myself. 1, I just didn't want to do it, and 2, it was a lot of work, and 3, I'm not sure I need to pull that trigger yet. But I am going to swing with probably as many mages as I can do in the next 2 turns or so. But I just don't know that it's gonna matter. I'm concerned that we're gonna swing. We're gonna throw out a bunch of big fights where we have, 500 Long Dead and 200 Supayas and like 60 to 80 more like elite warriors, Sun Guards, and Huakas, and sizable enough of a mage core to be a threat, but not enough of a mage core to be like a catastrophe, right? And I'm concerned that rather than giving battle, Vanna's just gonna go, cool. Flames from the sky, flames from the sky, flames from the sky, murdering winter. Oh, you did that in 4 locations? Flames from the sky, flames from the sky, murdering. Like, I'm concerned that we're not going to get actual battles. And why would we, right? Like, if Van has the ability to do this, why would Van fight us when the safer option is to just nuke us? It's a very logical, very fair question. And part of that is the game design, and part of that is the choices that we made, and part of that is the choices that we were kind of like forced towards by the structure and flow of the game and the situations within the game, etc., etc. So it is what it is. It's just I'm worried that it's not going to be satisfying, right? I'm worried that we're going to swing and it's not going to be a miss. It's just going to be like, it's the Cinderella story. We're at bat, right? Like, if we manage to hit this home run, right? Like, the bases are loaded and somehow we, against all odds, carry this fucking game, right? I'm concerned that it's not even going to be swing and a miss. I'm concerned that it's going to be like, we go to swing, and then on some technicality, we're we're just out, or we're just like disqualified from the tournament. Basically, someone walks up and just takes the bat out of our hands and is like, no, we're not gonna let you swing. That's what I'm concerned about. I hope that's not what happens. But from a logical standpoint, that very well could be what happens. So fingers crossed. Probably only like 2 more turns while we gear up and prep. We're gonna do a couple little more probes here or there, try to distract things. And this is partially to assist, right? Like we want Ulm to continue doing things. We want Pelagia to continue doing things. We want to probe a couple things. Draw the attention of Van, make them use a couple resources here or there, and then throw the fucking kitchen sink at them. And we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.